everybody, welcome to Superhuman Customs. I'm Stephen Human. Now this is really different because as you can see, everything has gone behind me. In fact, this video is getting shot completely out of order because this is this week that it's airing. Today is Memorial Day, and look what I found. Look what I found without even looking for it. I wasn't even looking for this sucker because it's sold out everywhere. I found him. And so what we're gonna do today for this out of order video, because there's like, so the reason this is all empty is because we're moving on Friday. So I'm gonna have a new office, and so you'll see that, but you're not gonna see it for like a month because I still have like 4 or 5 videos that were filmed before I took all this stuff down. So this is out of order. So we're gonna turn this guy into the blue version because I don't like the red version. We're gonna turn into the blue version, and the reason that Sam is here, this is Sam, by the way. He's my 13-year-old son. He's awesome. At a toy show last month, he got this Azrael, the original, which is my favorite, and I have one. You guys have seen the custom. He wants this customized. He wants it metallic, the whole shebang. So we're gonna do both of these today. It's gonna be a lot of fun, but it's gonna be different because all of my gear is packed up, all the figures, everything is packed, the house is sold. And so we are going to do both of these with my cell phone. So hopefully the audio is good and all that stuff. So you ready, Sam? Should we do this?
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Let's go.
All right, so filming on my phone, I'm not sure how all of this is going to work out. You guys know that I tend to drop into a more whispery voice just naturally, and so hopefully I will be able to, hopefully everything will sound-wise turn out right. So what I'm using is just my go-to dark blue, Azul Ultramarine Vallejo, and we're just going to do a thin coat on this guy over all the red. That's all. That's for the beginning anyway. Now, this guy, this version of Azrael, I mean, I was collecting comics when this happened originally in the comics, and I never really cared for the super armor version. This was the version that I liked. And so when other toys like the DC Universe Classics, when they came out with this guy, I got him because it was the only version of Azrael that I had, but this was the one they always wanted. The only reason I got this today, honestly, is because like I didn't expect to really find him. And I always wanted the blue, and I was like, when I saw him and he was discounted for Memorial Day, I was like, oh my gosh, seriously? And then I realized that I could just easily turn him into the blue version. So that's why I got him, and I figured that all you guys would be interested because I know so many of you have been trying to find this guy. And if I found him and passed him up, then that would just be not cool. In fact, they had 6 of them. They had 6 of this guy. None of the blues, just this, but I always knew if I found the red that I wouldn't have a problem because I would turn him into the blue. So this is how it goes. We're just going to go through and make this guy look nice and blue, and then we'll move on to the metallics.
Now, obviously, just ignore the printer in the background. Obviously, you're going to want to take the head off in order to get really good coverage on the neck and stuff. I can't show you the really good painting because I have to hold this and I can't hold the phone. So this is all a new experience for all of us. But yeah, take the head off, start painting, do the neck, get all up in there, and then you'll be in good shape. Now, here's a little tip. So I could take off the arms, and that's obviously an option. I could just take them fully apart because I'm not going to probably paint these. And so I could remove them, but one thing that you can do in order to get way back in here is that I just take the paintbrush, take a paintbrush like this, which is a thin paintbrush, and I just kind of, it's hard to show because I've got to hold the phone, but I just go in and I just really keep it tight to the top. And you can get exactly what you want. You can get it so that it doesn't touch anything else, and you can keep the figure together and it looks great. So that's what I'm doing with this guy. I'm not taking him apart other than the head, because I can get really in there and with all my stuff and really make it look cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to a smaller paintbrush, and I'm going to get in these details here, and you can see he's really starting to come together.
So with a character like this, the most important thing in getting the blue on there is making sure that you get all of the red edges along like areas like this with the symbol, because that's what's really going to stand out. So that means you're going to get a little bit of blue on the black, and that's okay because you can go back and you can repatch that. But if you have even a sliver of red, it's going to show up. Like you can even see them in here, you know, you can see the little pieces of red, and they will show up for sure. So you got to get them. So some of this bat symbol will turn blue, and that's okay. You'll go back over with the black, but that's the most important thing. is make sure there is no red showing through, because it will definitely stand out.
All right, first impressions so far on doing this. Because there's so much red, and I take for granted, having the camera usually set up, so holding it and stuff, I've gotten more slop, and I'm just not quite as happy with the overall coverage. It's not as smooth, like especially around the cymbal. So I'm just going to keep moving forward, and obviously we got to do the metallic and I've got to do the blades, but I just wanted to point out that I am having a little bit more of a difficult time with this setup with the phone, so good thing this is a one-off in that regard. But I think that it's still going to work out with once I get the metallic going and stuff. So let's move on to the little spiky wing things, and then we'll come back with some metallic.
Now with these things, basically I'm just getting a big brush and I'm going to go over them. Nothing too crazy. Now, since I've been doing this, you guys have seen, like particularly with some of the more metallic ones that I've done recently, you can see that what I'm going to be doing is when I go through with the metallic, I'll obviously go through, but then I'm going to dust it with the silver. And all of these little details and stuff in here are going to look so cool. So I'm really excited for that. But at this point, it's just go through and get it covered, do a nice thin coat, and make it so that red just disappears.
All right, I've decided to switch things up a little bit. I'm going to spray paint these black with some primer first, because the blue just wasn't going on the way that I wanted, and I think that this is going to be a much better way to do it. Plus, I'll be able to make the details stand out a little bit more. So I'm just going to spray paint all these black, and then we'll go over with the blue. How does that sound?
So while those are drying, I'm going to take my craft paint, my metallic blue, and we're gonna start going over this guy. And we're gonna do the exact same thing that we did in that other video from like almost 2 years ago when I did this guy. That's what Sam wants. We're gonna do a little bit more detail in the body, but for the metallic, it's just gonna be that. And I'm gonna try, like how I always do, to just go in the same direction so that it has that nice texture to it when it hits. But that's what we're gonna do here. And then we're gonna do the same to this guy here in just a minute. So I'm gonna go through, and you're getting 2 Azraels for the price of 1. 2 of the hardest figures to find. And I found that one discounted, and Sam found this one a month ago for $10, which is still like miracle of miracles in the toy hunting world. Still can't get over it. It was awesome. So the cool thing about the metallics on a figure like this is that you can go on so thin, and it changes the figure just immediately. Like you can see between the cape and up here, and it goes on so thin that it's not clumpy, and it looks really nice. And you don't have to like if something little gets missed when you're going over it, it's not the big deal because you'll never be able to see it because it's still blue. And so it's very forgiving. And I like that on a figure like this, because you want them to have the look and to really pop. And it goes so fast. Like if this is all you were doing to this Azrael right here, it would take you an hour, basically. Not even that. Like I'm moving super fast and just covering it, but it's cool when you see it starting to change, when you see him becoming that vision that you had in your mind of what this character should look like. All right, now it's this guy's turn to be metallic, and obviously I'm gonna do the same thing. You can see in here, like you can see it's got a little bit blotchy, and I don't like that. And part of it was because when I was going through, I just wasn't paying attention. I was going through and I touched it with a second coat too early, and it pulled up some of the paint. That's how you get blotchy paint when you're painting like this, is if you're not paying attention and you go over it while it's still drying, and it'll pull it up, and that's how you get blotchy. So you just go over it quick with your regular paint and do it. But you'll see here, I mean, this is just, it's more blotchy than usual, and there's more slop than usual, and so I'm gonna have to do a little bit more touch up. on this guy. But that's okay. I'm not going to freak out about it. I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to do more metallics on this guy anyway. I'm going to go over a little bit of silver. So hopefully that will help to cover up some of the screw ups that I did that just weren't as good. Part of me is wishing I just spray painted this guy black. That would have been crazy, honestly, but man, it would have created some nice textures. So next time we'll play around with that, because I got a steel today too. You'll see him much later, probably 6 weeks. And I'm going to do that with him. I'm going to spray paint him straight black, and that's going to look awesome. So let's just metallicize him. Don't be afraid to get it on the black, because I'm going to have to repaint that anyway. So there we go. It's looking pretty good.
And what I'm going to do with these, you can see I'm not painting these blue. I'm going to paint those black, and I am going to go over with a silver. I'm going to make this guy kind of my version. I don't think that's how it was in the comics, but I don't care. I think it's going to look cooler on the toy, so that's what I'll do.
And we do the same thing with the head. Nice and simple. This is the easiest part, man, just like with the original one. Just go over the top, add some. The change is instantaneous, you feel good, you move on.
And now here we go. And the good thing is that this is going to cover much more easily over the black than the red. And some of these black details are going to remain, which will make it look really cool.
Yes, it is the next morning now, early in the morning. What I'm going to do while all this stuff is drying, I'm going to sand some of this over his symbol and over in this area where it seems a little bit blotchy. Because I just want this guy to look good. And so I'm just going to take this and over the top. And while I got the silver out, I'm going to go through and I'm going to do just a little bit of dry brush on some of these areas, because I want it to look a little bit more metallic, and I want it to hit the edges so that it looks like he's been through it a little bit. I think it'll add some really nice textures to this guy and make this look that much more metallic.
Let's go ahead and do his claws.
All right, I'm going to go through with the black and fix the splotches here using my magnifying glass. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to paint these black, because I want to do them silver, and so they're going to need a black base. So that's what I'm going to do now, is just go through here, fix the bat symbol, and then do those little gun belts.
Now that the black is in place on both these guys, we're going to do a wash over all of it. So we're going to really darken them up and then take some toilet paper and dab it. And really get in these details here. And I'm even going to go over the gold so that we can start lightening things up over the top. So that's what I'm going to do now. And obviously I'm going to need 2 hands, but this gives you an idea of what we're going for on both of these figures.
Now that everything's been kind of darkened, he looks a little dirty, we're going to go through and I'm going to go with the gold. I'm going to highlight all of this, pick up some of the areas that we got some slop on, and highlight it. I'm going to do the same thing to the belt here, so that it will now have a more of a metallic sheen. So just dry brush it. All you gotta do is get a little tiny bit on the brush and then just go over the top of it like so. And I'll do this to both figures to highlight that, to make it so it looks less dirty. And then I'll do a light of blue over the top to just make that shine a little bit more too.
And now we're just going to do a little bit of dry brush with this metallic blue again. Just over the top, hit some of these areas, nice and light, just to go over some of the silver. And then we'll move on to the gray and the white, and then we'll just clear coat this guy, and I think we'll be done. He's looking so good. Now we'll just do a light coating of just some light gray. Just a dusting. Make things stand out a little bit. We just really want to hit these outer edges. Make it look a little bit more uniform, less dirty. We'll do it to both of them, and that will get us what we want. I think I might use it up here too. No, it might be too dark. But see how that works? Definitely makes it look cleaner. And now we're gonna do a little bit of silver in here to lighten it up. And along these bad boys to give them the look we want. And then just a hint of white in here, just to lighten it up. And then we'll clear coat them. I think we're done. And who would have thought that 24 hours ago, this guy was red? Happy with how he turned out. This was a little bit more rushed than I would have liked, just because of the fact that we are moving like tomorrow. So I had to move quick, and I obviously wanted to have this posted this week. But this is a great way that if you can't find the platinum version, which is very rare, you can turn the red into the blue super simply. It does take a little while because there's a lot of details here, but as you can see, he turns out looking really great. Now here's a look at the other one, so you can see them together, and I'm very happy with how these guys turned out. Thank you all for watching. Sometimes these are time consuming, sometimes they go quick, sometimes they turn out great, sometimes they don't. I'm very happy with this, and that's what I always say to you guys, is that if you're happy with how they turn out, then you did it right. You're not doing this for anybody else, you're doing this for yourself. So enjoy it, have fun. I'm Stephen Human with Superhuman Customs. I'll see you guys with another custom next week.